There's something poetic about the way narratives flip in the NFL, especially when it comes to Lamar Jackson. One moment, he's the most criticized quarterback in the league. The next, he's standing on top of Mahomes Mountain, with his biggest detractor practically choking on his own praise. That's exactly what happened recently. And if you've been following the Lamar Jackson story from day one, this moment felt like more than just recognition. It felt like vindication. Let's rewind. For years, Lamar Jackson has carried the weight of doubt on his shoulders. Critics questioned his passing ability, labeled him a running back playing quarterback, and discredited his MVP season as a fluke. And one of the loudest voices in that conversation? Nick Wright, a known Mahomes enthusiast. He made it his mission to downplay Lamar's accomplishments every step of the way. But now, Lamar is no longer just in the conversation. He's leading it. Nick Wright, on national television, placed Lamar at the top of Mahomes Mountain. Not tied, not second, above Mahomes. That alone tells you just how dominant Lamar Jackson has been to start this season. And look, it's not just eye test dominance. The numbers are jaw-dropping. Through the first 2 weeks, Lamar leads the NFL in touchdown percentage, passer rating, QBR, and adjusted yards per attempt. He's tied for first in passing touchdowns, and most notably, he hasn't thrown a single interception. Clean football, explosive plays, and control. That's what Lamar is bringing to the table. We're witnessing a quarterback who's mastered the balance between risk and reward, who can slice a defense through the air and then break it with his legs the very next play. Lamar has always had that elite athleticism. What's different now is the command, the poise, the maturity in the pocket. He's not just out-athleting defenses, he's outsmarting them. He's spreading the ball, making sharp reads, and keeping the offense on schedule. And that's why even those who doubted him are now scrambling to adjust their takes. But here's the question. Is all this praise genuine? Or is it just a setup? Because let's be honest, the NFL media loves a redemption story, but they love a takedown even more. Lamar is scheduled to face off against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs soon. What better setup than to crown him now, raise expectations sky high, and then wait for a slip-up under the bright lights of Arrowhead? It's almost too perfect of a setup. Mahomes Mountain isn't just a segment, it's a narrative device. And if Mahomes reclaims the top spot after their clash, well, the media can go right back to their old talking points. But until then, Lamar's dominance is too loud to ignore. This isn't a blip either. In his last 20 games, Lamar has thrown for nearly 5,000 yards, rushed for over 1,000 more, accounted for 57 total touchdowns, and only 4 interceptions. Read that again. That's MVP-level production over a season and a quarter's worth of games. He's been doing it consistently, regardless of the noise. And it's not just regular season flair. The way he's executing the offense right now looks sustainable. It looks like the kind of play that travels into the postseason. And maybe that's what's scaring people the most. Lamar Jackson with a chip on his shoulder is dangerous. Lamar Jackson playing confident football? That's terrifying. And for the first time in a long time, he's got the roster and the scheme to back him up. A healthy offensive line, weapons that can stretch the field, a play caller that's finally letting Lamar be Lamar. It's all clicking. He's not just winning games. He's dictating the terms of the fight. Even the way he handles the noise is different. While some quarterbacks go out of their way to clap back at critics, Lamar lets his play do the talking. No passive-aggressive interviews. No subtweets. Just silence, and then touchdowns. That's what makes this moment even more powerful. He didn't beg for validation. He earned it. Now, of course, there are still doubters. There always will be. But they're running out of arguments. The old "he can't throw" narrative has been shattered by his efficiency and placement this season. The "he's injury-prone" label is getting weaker every time he takes smart slides and avoids unnecessary hits. The "he can't win in the postseason" claim? That's the last wall left to break. And if this version of Lamar gets into January healthy, you better believe that wall is coming down too. Meanwhile, the Ravens themselves are quietly building a monster. They went into a tough game against the Cleveland Browns, and even without their best offensive performance, dropped 41 points on one of the league's most respected defenses. That says a lot about where this team is mentally. They're not just relying on Lamar to save the day, they're rallying around him. That locker room believes in their quarterback, and that belief is infectious. Now, as Baltimore prepares to face the Detroit Lions in a primetime Monday Night Football matchup, the stakes are only rising. The Lions are no joke, physical, fast, and coached by a guy who's got them playing with grit. But Baltimore thrives in games like this. And Lamar, well, this is where he shines. You want to test his poise? Give him the national stage. You want to question his toughness? Line him up against one of the hottest teams in the league. This is exactly the kind of game where Lamar tends to remind everyone that he's built differently. Of course, Detroit thinks they've got a plan. They pulled a sneaky move by signing Malik Cunningham, a former Ravens quarterback-turned-receiver, to their practice squad. Clearly, the idea is to use Cunningham to simulate Lamar Jackson in practice. But let's be real here. There's no one on this planet who can replicate what Lamar does. You can't practice for Lamar Jackson. You can only survive him. This kind of move from Detroit reeks of desperation. Sure, maybe they'll get some minor intel on the Ravens' offense, maybe a few personnel tips. But football isn't won in the film room, it's won on the field. And Cunningham didn't exactly spend years soaking up every detail of Baltimore's system. If this is the Lions' master plan to stop number 8, then good luck with that. And don't forget, Lamar hears all of this. He might not say much, but he hears it. Every time he's overlooked. Every time he's doubted. Every time someone like Nick Wright changes their tune, it doesn't go unnoticed. Lamar just stores it, files it away, and then, on Sunday or Monday night, in this case, he unleashes it. But while all eyes are on Lamar Jackson and the upcoming showdown against Detroit, there's a deeper layer to this story. The Ravens are walking into a crucial stretch of their season, a brutal gauntlet that could either solidify them as true contenders or expose weaknesses they've managed to mask so far. And that gauntlet starts with the Lions, who, make no mistake, are coming in with something to prove. They're physical, fast, and opportunistic on both sides of the ball. They've got an offense that can hang with the best of them and a defense that loves to hit. But if they think preparing for Lamar is as simple as plugging in a practice squad quarterback with a similar background, they're in for a rude awakening. See, this isn't about copying his style. Lamar Jackson isn't just fast or elusive. What makes him so hard to prepare for is that he's unpredictable, not because he's out of control, but because he has complete control. He can read a defense and choose in real time whether to cut you open with a perfectly timed throw or rip through your front seven with a sudden burst. There is no scout team guy who can simulate that decision-making, that explosiveness, and that calm under pressure. So, sure, bring in Malik Cunningham. But unless he suddenly became a former MVP with the highest passer rating in NFL history, it's not going to matter. And even if Cunningham does bring some inside knowledge, how useful is that really? The Ravens are evolving constantly. New looks, new tendencies, different play designs. Lamar's game itself evolves every week. His chemistry with his receivers is getting tighter, and Todd Monken's system is slowly being unveiled with more layers. Any tendencies that Cunningham might remember from training camp could already be outdated. Not to mention, you still have to line up and tackle Lamar Jackson, and that's a nightmare no matter how much intel you have. But Detroit isn't just betting on Cunningham, they're betting on themselves. And they should. The Lions have earned respect with how they've rebuilt. Dan Campbell's squad plays with a chip on their shoulder, and they've got enough talent to push any team to the brink. But Baltimore is a different animal, and they're built for these gritty, high-pressure matchups. They don't flinch when things get ugly. In fact, they seem to thrive in the chaos. Look at what happened against the Browns. Cleveland came in with one of the league's best defensive fronts, and the Ravens didn't even have their cleanest offensive game, yet still put up 41 points. That doesn't happen by accident. That's culture. That's resilience. That's execution. And that's what separates this team from the rest of the pack. You add in a defense that can take the ball away, pressure the quarterback, and rally behind leaders like Roquan Smith, and now you're talking about a team that can win in multiple ways. And speaking of Roquan Smith, he deserves his flowers. After a tough outing in Week 1, where the whole unit looked a step behind, he came out in Week 2 and dominated. 15 tackles, a fumble return touchdown, and the kind of sideline-to-sideline range that makes him one of the best linebackers in the game. That wasn't just a bounce back. That was a statement. It's easy to lead when things are going well. It's when adversity hits that you see who the real leaders are. And Roquan showed that he's not just wearing the C on his chest for show. He backs it up on the field every snap. Now, the Ravens will have to make some adjustments heading into this Lions game, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Kyle Van Noy is expected to miss some time with a hamstring injury, and while that might not grab headlines, it's a significant loss. Van Noy has been a steady presence, giving Baltimore veteran snaps and helping stabilize the edge. His absence likely means more reps for young guys like David Ohabo, and maybe even another practice squad elevation if they feel the need for more depth. But the real question is how they manage that rotation without compromising their ability to get after the quarterback. The Lions' offensive line is no joke. They're big, physical, and well-coached. You need guys who can not only hold the edge, but also be disciplined in their rush lanes, especially against a quarterback who can extend plays and make throws on the move. So all eyes will be on Mike Macdonald and how he adjusts. So far, he's been excellent with in-game decisions, mixing up looks and disguising coverages. He'll need another masterclass against Detroit. Offensively, one player whose return is starting to feel close is Isaiah Likely. He's been practicing in a limited capacity, and while his status for Monday night is still unclear, you get the sense that it's only a matter of time before he's back. But fans need to be patient. Coming off a foot injury, it's not realistic to expect him to jump back into form immediately. He needs time to trust that foot again, to build up explosiveness and feel like himself. And with Mark Andrews already established as the top tight end, the Ravens have the luxury to ease Likely back into the fold. And that's the right approach. Because if Baltimore wants to make a deep run this year, they're going to need Likely at full strength, not limping through snaps in October. There's no trophy for rushing a player back to action only to lose him again when the games really start to count. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And if this team has learned anything over the last few seasons, it's that you can't win in January if you're limping into December. That same logic applies to Patrick Ricard, who's also recovering slower than expected. Ricard plays one of the most physical roles on the roster. He's not just a blocker, he's a tone setter. The kind of guy who slams into defenders and takes joy in doing it. When you're carrying that much mass and taking that many hits, even a minor lower body injury can turn into a major setback if you don't manage it right. John Harbaugh made it clear the team is being cautious, and for good reason. You want Ricard ready for those cold weather games when physicality matters most. And while injuries are never ideal, the silver lining is that other players are getting valuable reps. Charlie Kolar is stepping up. The offense is being forced to explore new looks, and it's only making them more versatile. That kind of growth now could pay off huge later. When you're not locked into one style or one group of personnel, defenses can't game plan for you as easily. You become unpredictable. And that's what Baltimore is starting to build. An offense that can shapeshift, a defense that can adapt, and a quarterback who's capable of leading all of it. That brings us back to Lamar. Because everything this team does, every adjustment, every rotation, every play call, it all flows from the confidence they have in number 8. The trust is mutual. The Ravens believe in him, and he believes in what they're building. And when that relationship is strong, it shows on the field. Look at how he's playing right now. Loose, focused, in total command. There's no hesitation in his game. No panic. Just execution. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. In what is shaping up to be one of the NFL's most intriguing off-field dramas this season, whispers are swirling around the Baltimore Ravens locker room following an explosive comment from head coach John Harbaugh. During a seemingly routine media session, Harbaugh dropped a line that has immediately set tongues wagging. "He's not playing with me anymore," he said, referring to an undisclosed player. The statement, vague yet undeniably dramatic, has left fans and insiders alike scrambling to piece together the story. While Harbaugh didn't specify the player, sources hint that tensions within the team have been simmering for weeks, if not months. Observers point to recent practice footage where certain interactions seemed less than cordial, with body language and sideline conversations raising eyebrows. The identity of the player remains a closely guarded secret, fueling speculation from every corner of the NFL rumor mill. Could this be a veteran star clashing with the coaching philosophy? Or is it a rising talent whose style just doesn't mesh with Harbaugh's vision? Inside sources suggest that the issue might not be purely on-field performance. Some speculate disagreements over training routines, game strategy, or even locker room dynamics could be at play. The Ravens, a team known for their disciplined approach under Harbaugh, rarely see public hints of discord. That makes this revelation all the more shocking. Fans have taken to social media, creating threads and polls trying to guess the player involved, while sports pundits debate whether this is a temporary rift or the start of a bigger shakeup in Baltimore. If the tension escalates, the implications could be far-reaching. Could the Ravens be forced into a mid-season trade? Would the locker room atmosphere suffer? Or could this be the dramatic push needed to realign team priorities? For now, everyone is watching, waiting for the next comment, the next hint, the next cryptic tweet from insiders. Harbaugh's enigmatic statement has thrown a spark into the NFL off-season chatter, and one thing is certain. Baltimore is about to become the epicenter of football gossip. Until more details emerge, the league watches closely as rumors mount, debates flare, and the mystery player's identity hangs like a cloud over the Ravens season. The drama is just beginning, and fans know one thing for sure. This story is far from over. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.